my morning was a bit of a mixed one. I'm going to tell you about it because often those videos just begin, I do my few starting shots and then I'm on the road. But a lot more goes into it and I wanted to tell you guys about my morning today.
I'm sorry, but the person you have called is unavailable. Please leave a message after the tone.
So Lydia, when you get this, please call me back. The 90 minutes are up and yeah, I'm worried.
So welcome back to the Freemilesmc, and we're today going to look at one of the most beautiful historic cities in Croatia. Rostock, it is called. Actually very similar to the German city Rostock. Yeah, the night was good, but my morning was a bit of a mixed one. I'm going to tell you about it because often those videos just begin, I do my few starting shots and then I'm on the road. But a lot more goes into it and I wanted to tell you guys about my morning today. I woke up, instantly realized that the uploads to YouTube failed. So we'll have to look for some internet somewhere else. Then made the plan to wash my bike. Then found out no motorcycle or car washes close by anywhere. Then my one friend texted me, who's also a YouTuber from the Unordinary World channel, and he gave me the text of, yo dude, I'm somewhere in Turkey and have to go over this mountain pass and it's super cloudy and nothing works, and he was worried that he's not going to make it, so he was sending me his location, that because he didn't have data anymore after that point, so that I can call someone if he doesn't call me back in 90 minutes. So that was quite stressful, and then after 90 minutes there was no call back, and I was starting to wonder like, fuck, how much more time do I now give him before I'm trying to get help? And he's from Ireland and I wanted to call the Irish embassy, and right before I called the Irish embassy he gave me a call that he made it through, and he made it through like in the 90 minutes, but like when he made it through his mobile data was consumed up and his phone minutes were also consumed up, and I at the moment didn't manage to organize him help earlier because that morning already my mobile SIM card failed me and I needed to get a different phone contract with my mobile phone company. And yeah, and now we finally made it and we're on the road. But that's sometimes how the mornings go behind the scenes. Yeah, and we're going to this town called Rostock. Also, I wanted to loop my chain and I instantly ran out of chain loop, so we will have to get some chain loop as well. So we're now getting really close to our town that we wanted to look at. I earlier had the whole like name problem that I thought it's quite similar to the name of the German city Rostock. The city has two names basically. It's called Sochi Rostock, and that then makes more sense. And also on the way, something that maybe some people wonder, we drove past a very beautiful national park that we now didn't have a look at. It's the national park where the movie Winnetou was shot. Probably something that more of my German viewers know of. or I don't know if that movie had international success. But I now skipped that one because you have to reserve tickets for that, and the next slot for tickets would have been free in 5 days. And also it was very guided tour orientated, and no, not feeling like that today. The town is supposed to have a really nice mixture of beautiful architecture, but also very nice beautiful nature. That is and both of those things are combined. So I'm really curious about that. So let's find a place to have some food so we can look up all the nice highlights of the city that we can have a look at. Oh, really nice 600. Would love to ride something like that again as well. I feel like this is a super cool image because we have 5 BMW GSs in a row, all super clean, and then my absolutely dirty Royal Enfield Interceptor in front. I'm now here in this village of Sluny Rostock, and here behind me is a totem, and this has been part of a movie set of the German Winnetou films. For my English-speaking viewers, the Winnetou films have been German-produced westerns that were based on the books of Karl May. Many of you now probably wonder, why do so many people care about this one German Western about American indigenous people? Yeah, that is actually a really good question, because the reason why there's such a big hype around this film and why so many people travel to these locations here in Croatia and why they're pin-ups of Winnetou here is because the German cinema sphere is not that big actually. We don't have many big cinema productions. I mean, we do have, but most of them suck. Why is that? That is because we as Germans don't go to the cinema that often. So movies have a really hard time breaking even, which leads to the state having to help with funding for the cinema, which leads to a lot of very shit movies. Yeah, and Winnetou is one of the few examples of a movie that is actually really decent, that is produced by German directors, German actors and everything. Speaking of not just German actors, but many people in this village have been extras for that film. But basically is one of the few classics that we have gotten after the really old German films. And yeah, and it was also a film that was competitive to the American westerns for German viewers, which now sounds maybe a bit weird, a German-produced western, but yeah, we actually had a few of similar stuff like that. Yeah, and there were a lot of other films similar to Winnetou, mostly the adaptations of the Karl May books, and that is basically what made these films excel, because after the terrible brain drain that Germany suffered after World War II when it comes to movies and TV, it basically managed to escape that a bit through that. And of course, these films then continue to exist as classics that everyone saw, because due to the viewing habits that I already described, not a lot of good stuff was like coming after it, due to the blessing and the curse that is the state involvement in financing movies. And yeah, through all this, like basically everything that we get is like very late adaptations of trends that are globally already existing. Like a lot of stuff that is like a popular movie concept arrives in German cinema around 20 to 40 years later. And that is for the few exceptions that are not terrible comedies. So that's why the Winnetou film stands out so much. And with a lot of stuff then being very late adapted, Winnetou as a Western also kind of hit the whole Western scene quite late, with like Westerns already starting from like the early silent films all the way then to the 80s. That was a bit the luck that kind of film persisted for so long. Because with other stuff it doesn't go that well, to say the least. Most German films are big flops, and if you then have something where the state is not that super involved in, it is very much too late, and then the screenwritings are often very, very wild. This late adaptation basically led to other weird TV trends that we have in Germany that basically seem probably very weird to people outside of Germany. Like, we have gotten buddy cop action TV shows like 20 years later than everyone else, with like Alarm für Cobra 11 in the 2000 to 2010s. Well, that was a thing in like the 80s, I feel like, in American cinema and so on. And also like stuff like the weird martial arts Shaolin monk TV shows like Kung Fu with David Carradine as Khan. We've gotten that as well. Also, 30 years later with, I think it was called Lasko, die Faust Gottes. Was super funny, honestly. We went to a few shooting locations of that on that tour, and I thought about mentioning it earlier, and it was still in my head. And it was such a weirdly amazing TV show. It was my absolute guilty pleasure when I was like 10. Because due to it being so lately adopted and being filmed in Germany, they made the Shaolin monks like Catholic. And it led to this very funny show about Catholic monks fighting organized crime with martial arts in, like, I think it was filmed in Sachsen-Anhalt. It's my absolute jam. Like, if you want to have a good time, look at the DVDs of that stuff. Yeah, and back to Winnetou. Westerns being like such a super long genre that lasted from 1903 to all the way to the 80s. The late adaptation wasn't much of an issue. Then Karl May basically was the reason the whole brain drain thing wasn't that much of an issue, and it led to the perfect storm for a German Western to exist, which now is a classic. And of course, then a Western like Winnetou that was filmed with the themes of like the very early Westerns, but then produced in the 60s, mixed with the other films that were based on the Karl May books, with this whole like late adaptation of global trends, then leads to the accusation of culture appropriation. So that's why we have that discussion now in Germany. And yeah, please, German people in my comment sections, behave, because this Winnetou thing is a really touchy subject. So, and we made it to the car wash station because we desperately need to wash our bike. I sadly earlier gave the guy in the food store all my coins. We only have one €5 bill. Hopefully it gets us somewhere. Oh, nice. I'm feeling a bit tired and I think I need a bit of a break, so I will now call it a day and get a break. Because that's also important. The last 2 trips I never did a break and at some point was incredibly tired, so let's look for a place to stay.
So I'm now in my hotel room. The place is quite nice. Like I earlier talked to the people who own it. There are 2 old people from here, and they didn't speak English or German, but we still managed to communicate because the woman of the 2 was like communicating very clearly, and like there are a few words that are kind of the same and understandable in all languages. And yeah, this is the room. This is my bed. It's quite nice. You can slowly see that the buildings are a bit different here in Croatia, and for example also the color of the walls and stuff. And yeah, I'll now go to sleep and see you in the next one.